zu sagen nicht keinmal, als du gehst den letzten Weg. Gott schöne Bleierne, verstellen Bleie dich. Kommen sind noch unser ausgewählte Schuhe. Es wird abhängt.
We had an event in Park Gardens where we had a few speeches, some readings and some songs and some music which were relevant to the themes of remembering the victims of the Holocaust and remembering people who fought against fascism.
Last Thursday, thousands around the world marked the 77th anniversary of the liberation of the largest Nazi death camp, Auschwitz-Birkenau. There were many more such camps, of course. And in remembering the victims of this genocide targeted particularly against Europe's ethnic minorities, such as Jews and Romani people, as we will hear later, we also remember how racist ideologies made it possible, and that those ideologies are patently not yet defeated, and we commit to resisting them for the purpose of creating a safer future.
You've introduced me as leader of the council, but I think I'm standing here before you today as a granddaughter, as a mother, and as a sister. And this might seem a frivolous point to make, but I'm going to start with this. Not long ago, before I came out, I washed my hair, and I was reminded of my Hungarian grandmother. She and her sister always used to have kittens if you walked out of the house with wet hair. And the reason I mention that is you might have thought these are two fussy old women, but they lost their parents, their sister, their brother-in-law and her two nephews, twin boys, who are 4 years old in Auschwitz. So that's the personal memory that my family has, that we carry the memory of their murders with us every single day.
Of these Romanis, thousands were Sinti and Kale tribes, and they were deported from Greece and Italy. 400 of them were Spinola and Spinarella families. They were men, women and children. They were my aunts and uncles. I'm just going to skip what else I've written and come towards the end because this is getting a bit difficult. Today, as we stand here, atrocities and discrimination are still being committed against Romani, Sinti and Roma people across Europe and the world. Internment and so-called repatriation camps in Italy, exclusion and refusal of education and jobs in Romania and Hungary, and the new policing bill in the UK targeting Romani gypsies and travellers. This is not acceptable. We, the Romani, have been in Europe since the 12th century, and the British Isles since the 14th century. We are the largest racial, ethnic people in the world, confirmed by DNA sampling. And yet we have no homeland, no single country. The Romani nation are children of the world, with an estimated world population of 37 million. Of which 135,000 are resident in the UK. And yet we're still discriminated against. For many of us, this is no longer acceptable, and we try to educate the public and fight publicly for our rights. And our relatives did not die for nothing. So, the Poramos, the great devourer, destroyed our nation. Thank you for your time.
Very well said.
This stuff hasn't gone away. It's easy to think that this, like we had a reading from Michael Rosen where the little poem which said people think that fascism is going to come looking like grotesques in Nazi uniforms, and it isn't. It's here. It's among us now, and when. As we have now with the pandemic, where people are worried and frightened and insecure, there are nasty people who want to take advantage of vulnerable people and recruit them into some really unpleasant things. And that's why it's important. The point of these commemorations is to put a wall between us and them.
יתפאר ויתחמם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי בקדשו ברכו. יעלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה די אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן.